Hello, and welcome to the Law of Sines Day 3 video. In this video, we're really just going to talk about everything that we know about law of sines and kind of sum it up real nice. So first thing we need to know about law of sines, what is law of sines? It's a ratio of our angles and side lengths. So that's sine of A over A is equal to sine of B over B, which is equal to sine of C over C. And when do we use law of sines? Well, we use it to find our sides and angles of triangles that are not right triangles when we're given certain pieces of information. The first scenario is when we're given an angle, side, and an angle, or ASA. Second scenario, when we're given an angle, and a side, or AAS. And the last scenario is when we're given a side, and an angle, or SSA. Now, in two of these situations, it's pretty straightforward. For angle, side, angle, no matter what, you're only going to have one solution, or make one triangle. The same can be said for angle, angle, side. So in these two situations, no matter what, you draw your triangle, it's automatically one solution, you solve for the triangle using the formula above. But for side, side, angle, that's when we have the ambiguous case, meaning that you're either going to have 0, 1, or 2 solutions. And that can be determined in two different ways. So the first scenario of dealing with the ambiguous case, and I'll write that here, is when the one angle given is greater than 90 degrees. So for the ambiguous case, when the angle is greater than 90 degrees, there's two different situations that happen. So let's go over those. Move this up. So first example, let's say we have angle A is 150 degrees, side length B is 8, and side length A is 6. So if we were to draw that, and I'll try to draw these semi to scale, may look something like this. So we'll have angle A here, it's 150 degrees, we'll have B here, C over here. Let's see, side A is 6, side B is 8. So I take a look at this is ambiguous case. So when the angle is greater than 90 degrees, I know that my largest side needs to be across from my largest angle. I can see right here that 150 is across from 6, but this side is larger, so I can automatically just say this is a no solution problem. And I can give my reasoning that the largest side is not across the largest angle. So that's all you have to do for no solution. You don't have to solve for the rest of the triangle because there is no triangle. Another scenario that you may come across, let's see, we'll have angle B is equal to 100 degrees, side length C is 12, and side length B is 15. So if I was to redraw this triangle, and again, I'll try to draw this semi to scale. I'm not great at that. Ooh, that's real wavy. So we'll have angle B over here because that's our obtuse angle. We'll have angle A, C. So we have side length C is 12, side length B is 15, and we don't know angle A yet. Don't know why I put those equal signs. There we go. So taking a look at this, our angle is greater than 90 degrees. It's across from a 15, which is larger than 12. So I can already say right away, hey, this is a one solution problem, meaning we can only create one triangle from these three pieces of information. Reason being is we have our largest side is across the largest angle. And now that we've established this, we can solve this problem like we normally would. So for our first scenario, we'll have sine of 100 over 15, so our pair of B's, is equal to sine of our angle C over 12. We're not going to compare it to our A's since we don't know anything about our A's yet. So from here I'm going to cross multiply. We'll have 15 times sine of c is equal to 12 times sine of 100. And we'll divide both sides by 15, so we'll get sine of our angle c is equal to 12 times sine of 100 divided by 15. Then finally, to get our angle c by itself, we have to sine inverse both sides. So we'll have c is equal to sine inverse of all of this shenanigans. Now that I have the variable by itself, I can plug my angle in all at once. Or we can plug everything in all at once, and we're going to get that c is 52 degrees. Remember, round to the first decimal place, but this turned out kind of nice. So this will be 52 degrees. And now that we have two angles, we can say, hey, let's just subtract what we know from 180 degrees. Change my color. So we'll do angle A is equal to 180 minus 28 degrees. Oops, sorry, that's the answer. Minus 100 degrees minus 52 degrees. That's going to give us 28 degrees. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong spot in my answers. So I'm making sure I'm going back and writing that in my triangle. The last thing that we need to do is find our side length A. Move this up just a little bit. So we'll still have sine of 100 over 15, but now we'll set that equal to sine of 28 over our side length A. Again, we will cross multiply, so A times sine of 100 is equal to 15 times sine of 28. Divide both sides by sine of 100. Now that I have the variable by itself, I can plug everything into my calculator at once. We'll get that side length A is 7.15. So remember, when we're solving for side lengths, please round to the second decimal place. But here we are. Since we figured out it was a one solution, we would just solve like normal, just like we would for our angle side angle or our angle angle side. So these are two of the scenarios that we can deal with when we are talking about our ambiguous case. But there is one other scenario that can happen. So the question, what if for our ambiguous case, the angle that we're given is less than 90 degrees? Well, this is where things get a little bit more exciting, because you can either have a no solution, a one solution, or you can have two solutions. So remember, first step I'm going to have you do is always to build that triangle. So in this first situation, we're going to say that angle A is 35 degrees, side length A, is 5, and side length B is 10. So when I build my triangle, I'm going to stop doing these to scale because I'm not great at that. Let's see, angle A is 35 degrees, side length A is 5, side length B is 10, we don't know C. So in this case, we have to compare our side lengths to the height of our triangle. Remember, your height is always going to be equal to your adjacent side, or whatever side is next to your given angle that we know, times sine of whatever that given angle was. So in this case, our height is going to be 10 times sine of 35. And once I plug that into my calculator, I get 5.7. So we're going to take that and compare that to our opposite side. So in this case, that's going to be side A. So we're going to have our opposite side compared to our height. So we can say that, hey, 5, that's actually less than 5.7. Now, when we have this side here being less than our height, it means it can't even reach this other side. So technically, I don't know if it'll let me erase it partially. There we go. Technically, we have something that looks like this. It doesn't even make a triangle. So when that happens, we can say this is a no solution problem. We don't have to do any more than this. We've made what we can of our triangle. We found the number of solutions. We can be done. So let's move on to another scenario that could possibly happen. So in this case, again, we're going to have angle A be 35 degrees. We're going to have side length A be 11 and side length B be 10. So almost the same triangle. Let's try and draw it. I'm going to draw this the same type of way. Ooh, this is slightly weirder looking triangle. Okay, so we know that angle A is 35 degrees, side length A is 11, not 1. Side length B is 10. Here's our side length C. Again, we need to go through and find our height, which is equal to our adjacent side times sine of our angle. Cool thing is that this height's actually going to be the same as the previous problem since we're using the same information. So the height here is 5.7. So first I compare this again to my opposite side. So we compare the opposite side to the height, or 11 to 5.7. And 11 in this case, larger. So we know there's going to be at least one triangle, possibly more. So now that we have that, we're going to compare our opposite side to our adjacent side. So in this case, our opposite side is 11, our adjacent side is 10. Our opposite side is larger than our adjacent side. So when our opposite side is larger than our height and our adjacent side, that's going to give us a one solution problem, which means that out of all of these 3 pieces of information that we're given, we can only create one triangle. Since it's a one solution, we're going to go through and solve. So we're going to start doing that by setting up sine of 35 over 11 is equal to sine of b over 10, since we don't know anything about our c's. Move that up. So we'll cross multiply and get 11 times sine of b is equal to 10 times sine of 35, divide both sides by 11. And then to get b by itself, we're going to use sine inverse on both sides. Oops, I totally forgot to sine inverse. We're just going to go back on all of that. I'm not going to refilm it because it's okay to make mistakes. There we go. So now that we have it all encompassed on one side, our angle is by itself. We are going to plug all of this into our calculator and get that angle B is 31.4 degrees. Oops, that I will redo. There we are. Okay, so we have 31.4 degrees. I have 2 of my angles. Let's find the third. So angle C is going to be 180 minus 35 minus 31.4, and we are going to get 113.6 degrees for this whole angle right here. Oops. There we go. And then last but not least, we need to go through and solve for our side C. So I'm going to set this up with my A's again. You can set up with your B's now that you know it, but these are kind of whole numbers. I like that. Is equal to sine of 113.6 divided by C. Am I still recording? Sorry, I hit something with my palm. Don't really know what happened. But from here, I'm going to cross multiply. So we'll have C times sine of 35 is equal to 11 times sine of 113.6. I'm going to divide both sides by sine of 35. Sine of 35, there we go. Once we have all of this, I'm going to plug this into my calculator all at once. We're going to get that our side length C is 17.57. And this makes sense. It's our largest side. It's across from our largest angle. So this is, again, once you find something as a one solution, you would solve it like normal. So it's the kind of pre-process that takes a little bit more work. But there is one more scenario for our ambiguous case we have to go over. So we'll move this up. We're going to say that, let's see, angle A is 44 degrees. Side length A is 9. And we're going to say that side length C is 12. Now, whenever I'm setting up my triangles, I always like to put my angle in the bottom left-hand corner. So we'll have our angle A here and our side length here of 9. But I also always like to have my adjacent side as my left side as opposed to the bottom, so finding the height is a little bit easier. So I'm going to put my side length C over here, which means my angle C has to be over here in the bottom right-hand corner, and my B's are top and bottom. That's perfectly fine to do, to rearrange it that way. That's something that helps me keep consistency. However, if you're like, no, I hate doing that, I want to keep my A, B, and C in the same place at all times, you are totally allowed to do that. But now that we have our same type of situation, side-side angle, our angle is less than 90 degrees, we have to go through and find our height. So in this case, again, our height is equal to our adjacent side. That's why I don't say b sine of a, because it's not, the adjacent side is not always b. So adjacent side times sine of our angle. So in this case, that's going to be 12 times sine of 44, and that's going to give us 8.34. So first thing we're due, let's compare our opposite side to our height. Our opposite side is 9, our height is 8.34, so just barely our opposite side is larger than our height. We know we're going to have at least one solution. So now we're going to continue and compare our opposite side to our adjacent side. Our opposite side is 9 and our adjacent side is 12. So our adjacent side is actually larger than our opposite side. So when the opposite side is greater than the height but smaller than the adjacent side, this is going to be a two-solution problem, meaning that there are two separate triangles that you can create from this given information. Now, because we're in distance learning, I'm not going to have you solve for those. Once you determine it is a two-solution problem, I'm going to let you stop there. But here you have it. This is everything that we know about law of sines. If you can go through this video and you're feeling pretty comfortable, and you can go through tomorrow's Go Formative and you're feeling okay, you're going to do great on the law of sines portion on the test. Watch the video, work on the Go Formative, let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you tomorrow. Oops, again.